video, I'm going to make a fan shroud for my Studebaker truck, and I think I'm going to make a second one for this car, and I'm going to include clips from both. So it's pretty simple. You just need to have access to a spool gun or a TIG welder, and maybe you could do it out of steel, and then you can just MIG it. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I got this far. So I had this big sheet of aluminum, and I cut out what I needed. Made it an inch bigger than what I need. It's going to have a 1/2 inch on either side that's 90 degrees, so I have to break this over 90 degrees, so it'll be flat and then 90 that way, both sides. I traced this out, but I scribed from the inside, so you want this on the inside flange here. Basically, you want the fan to actually rest on the aluminum. It gives it way more strength. And then I drilled these holes out and I nut inserted it. You can nut and bolt it. You just want to make sure this is less than a 1/2 inch, otherwise it's going to hit the core of the radiator. So I scribed it out and I had to cut it out. That's the piece. I used the jigsaw. I'm going to take the fan off there and show you. Okay, so basically this is the outside diameter of the fan, and then this is what the fan actually rests on, this little like 1/4 inch lip. And these are the nut inserts. So I'm gonna clamp this between these two 2-inch square tubes, and I'm gonna actually hammer over the end. This is what I did. This is steel. This is aluminum. It's bendable grade aluminum, so you have to get that kind of aluminum when you order your sheet. And this is a hammered over 90. It's pretty straight, and then I cut some vacuum tubing and put it on the end. I'm not sure if I'm going to do this for this one yet or not. I might. That just might give it a seal and help it from rubbing through the actual radiator itself. But I think it'll be fine without it. Most fan shrouds don't have that, but just being a little precautious. So we're going to see how it fits with and without that. And I'm going to show you how it bolts into the truck. So basically, when building the fan shroud, I have an angled piece going across the top of the radiator like that. Got holes drilled in it. You could either rivet it or bolt it. I got some machine screws here, and I drilled through the aluminum and the flange of the radiator. And then it's nutted and bolted basically. You could flange, rivet that if you'd like. So this is how it goes on the top, and then on the bottom, it goes like that. So basically, this is going to sit up against the flange, this side, and then the outside edge of this is where the actual fan shroud itself is going to be welded. So basically, the core is in here, and then that sheet is going to have the side on it that goes in this way, and this is how this is how wide it's going to be, 1/2 inch from the actual core. And then I'm going to do like stitch welds, like 3 inches and 3 inches across it on the top and bottom, and then you'll be able to unscrew this and take it apart. So basically that's how I'm going to do it. I'll show you when I get a little bit further. Okay, so basically this is how I have it set. You have the top side or the outside, and I have it clamped between two pieces of 2x2, and you could see it. I have to go in a little bit, but you want it right at a 1/2 inch. And right at a 1/2 inch, so you just gotta level it in there and then hammer downwards. Okay, so I just took this hammer and just went slowly. And it's a pretty decent brake. It'd be a lot easier if I owned a sheet metal brake, but I don't currently have that luxury in life. And I just have to take this out, flip it around, do the same thing on the other side. Okay, I got the fan bolted back up onto the shroud. There's my my bend. One on the other side. Okay, basically to give you a visual, this side is going to be bolted to the radiator. This is the angle, and it's going to sit like that, and I'm just going to weld the top seam here. This isn't the actual piece of angle, and then you can see how it kind of meets up right there, and we'll be able to bolt to the radiator. And this piece going across this angle, because it's pretty sturdy, that'll stiffen up this entire shroud. It already is pretty stiff, but it does have a little bit of a, especially with the fan in there, has a little bit of flex to it. That angle welded in there, so it's going to be solid. And since it's aluminum, it's not all that heavy. It's going to be a little hard to show you. But the fan's in there. I cycled it. Everything works great. Let me see if you can see it better from this side. It's really hard to see in there. Okay, I made the fan shroud on this truck, so I'm going to start making this one. It might be a little bit easier for some people to see, but cut the angle iron already and mounted it, and just drilled it and put some machine screws in. This is 23.5, you can see, and I have to cut 24.5 because it's going to have the 1/2 inch sides on each side. I'm going to show a little bit more in this process, but trying to go through it quicker. I clamped the bottom, did the same thing, so now I have to cut out a sheet out of the aluminum I have over there that's 1 inch bigger this way, but it's got to be 17 3/8 high. I measured the inside to the inside, so I'm going to cut that and then fold the two sides over, mount it in there, mark where I need to put the fan, cut that out with the jigsaw, mount that in, and then just weld that flat piece with the sides to this angle iron, and then it should be done. Okay, so we are on this fan shroud again, a different day. So what I did was I cut the square out of the sheet of aluminum and I cut it 1 inch bigger, so then I folded over 1/2 inch in that side and this side. As you can see, it's folded over in there. Don't mind those booger welds. So this is aluminum, and I have a spool gun, but I don't have the correct gas. It takes 100% argon, so I just tried tacking it with a MIG gas 7525. Needless to say, that doesn't work. So I have to borrow a tank or take this down to my friend's house and have him weld it for now. But I just wanted to tack it. So now, after I get this all situated, I'm going to set the intake back in here, because the fan isn't going to be centered in here, because the intake's actually down here going to hit it. Right there, it comes sitting down here. It's a pretty big filter, so the fan's going to have to go over that way a little bit, so I have to mock it up, mark it, cut the hole out with a jigsaw. I'll show that, and then mount the fan in there permanently. So we'll show you when it's completely done. Okay, this is the end of the fan shroud build. I'm going to show you the finished product on the car, and hopefully it gives you a good idea on how to build your own shroud. I did it already in this video. You've seen do it on the truck and do it on the car. Right behind me is a sheet of aluminum, how much I have left over. I could build more stuff out of it. Once I get my TIG, that'll be more projects for that. So you can subscribe if you want to see more projects. They'll be here in the future. But the fan shroud on the car is finished, and drove the car, and the car never gets over 180 degrees. It's great. It's still a little cool outside, so on a hot day I'm going to take it out, make sure the fan and everything's efficient, and everything seems to be working great. So let me show you it, and then we'll wrap this video up. Okay, so here's the fan and the shroud in there. And the last thing I showed was I didn't cut the hole out for the fan. What I did was I set the intake in there, everything in place, then set the fan in there to where it needs to be, marked it with a Sharpie, pulled it out, the shroud in the fan, laid it down, and then I lined up my marks for the fan to get it centered, and then I took this a pick and scribed it from the inside, and just drilled a hole, cut it out with the jigsaw, and then put some nut certs in there. I already showed you that, and bolted it back in the car, and it's working great. It was already wired to begin with, so I just plugged it shit back in, and like I said, I drove the car, and everything seems to be working great. Good test that you could do is I stuck a receipt on the radiator, you can see where it's pulling, and same as the other fan on the other car, about the last inch, the receipt won't stick to it. So it's pretty efficient all the way through. Maybe if you built it a little bit bigger, it'd be a little bit more efficient. But like I said, it's a learning experience, and so far it seems to be working on both vehicles. They haven't gotten hot a single time yet. So this is the way I would do it. Clearly, it's the way I've done it. Maybe you could learn something. Maybe you do it a little bit different, make it better. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Got a comment, question, ask it. I'll do my best to answer everything. And if you could, subscribe for more projects and more content to come.